Good morning, my channel mammals. It is so amazing to have this time with you today. I'm wondering if you remember, if any of you remember that I had made a little gift for the people that work at the McDonald's here on Staten Island. And it was about, I don't know how long ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And I kept thinking, oh gosh, I'm just welling up with gratitude again. Because every time I go there, I just feel so invigorated and so refreshed by just their sweet faces peeking through the windows. I don't really go inside much, or really at all now since that pandemic. I just got in the habit of driving through, and all I get is the same thing when I go, which is a breakfast burrito for $1 and a large soda for $1. And so it's just a simple thing. And anyway, I thought I'd like to do another gift for them. And I have so much to do. As you know, or maybe you don't, I haven't even told you, it's been a very, very difficult year this year. It's a long story. Maybe I'll make a separate video to explain what's been going on here. But still, my gratitude was overwhelming, and I knew that there was a way that I could find to give to these dear people. So then I remembered doing that project, and it was so much work. It took over a week to do. So I thought, oh dear, how can I do that again? And then I thought, you know, I had just listened to a wonderful lecture. It was actually a lecture about Christmas. And in the sidelines of the lecture around Christmas, the lecturer started to talk about ideas and how ideas are all we need for almost every project. In fact, for everything we do, ideas are the center and the beginning and the fullness of the project. So and he said, you know, ideas never run out. They're always flowing. And so we always have this abundance. The answer is always there. So I just thought, well, I'm just going to be still now and let God take over. That takes a lot of love right there. And so I just kept going along, and I left the thoughts, and I just turned to that idea of letting go and watching the idea come before me. And within seconds, really, within seconds of that idea, of listening for the idea and knowing that it was ever flowing, came this amazing solution. And the solution was that Richard and I had made these beautiful little boxes. Can you see? And I think I've shown these to you before, actually. And we have an abundance of these boxes. So we already had 50 boxes that we could share. And well, that wasn't the first thing that came to me, but that's the first thing you're seeing. The first thing that came to me was, we have some little tiny hamburgers. I'll show you. You can see inside this box when we open it. It's the perfect thing for McDonald's. Let's see if you can see this here. Can you see it? It makes me giggle just to show it to you. Okay, look at that little hamburger when he stops wiggling around. Maybe I'll hold my... Look at... It looks just like a photograph of a McDonald's hamburger. And we already had put these little tiny screw eyes in the top. See that little tiny screw eye? Because we used them as a fob on the end of an extension of a necklace. The necklace was called the Busybody necklace. And so we had just that many left over, just that many. And so we also had all different sizes of these little hooks. They're called lobster claw, because when you open them, wait, see, they open like a lobster, looks kind of like a lobster claw, you see? Well, this is the biggest size that we had. And at first I tried one that was a little more in proportion to the hamburger. But then I thought, you know, this little item as a gift. Imagine if you worked at McDonald's and somebody gave you a hamburger. You would be I think you would be really tickled. I hope. So I thought, well, there are boys, men, and women that work there. And so I thought, wouldn't it be great if they could all use this little hamburger? So that's why I put this lobster claw on the top, this brass lobster claw, because they could hang it on their zipper of their jacket, you know? They could hang it on their backpack. They could hang it on a lamp pole, a light pole. They could hang it, I'm trying to think of all the ways they could use it. Well, a girl could put it around a little gold chain around her neck, or on her little pull chain of her purse, or anything. Or a boy could give it to his mother or to his sister, or he could have it on his keychain, or she could have it on her keychain. There's just lots of different ways that this little hamburger can be a useful reminder of something very good. So what I really wanted to say to them, I had to put into a letter to them. So anyway, I had all these boxes that are all ready to go, but I needed to have a letter. So I printed out a letter that I wrote so they could read it inside the box. Would you like me to read it to you? Okay. I'll do it. I hope you enjoy it. Dear McDonald's staff, do you know that every morning, every day and night, you are changing the world? You have no idea, I betcha, how far-reaching your goodness flows. Because of your sincere kindness, professional giving, natural friendliness, each of you are not only embracing those whom, I'm reading in the crack now, are not only embracing those whom you are serving, but also teaching the way for all of us to be. Since I have been coming to this very special little McDonald's, I have gently learned how to not just feel love for others, but to express it in ways that naturally fit the situation I am with at the moment. And I'm seeing a direct result, if not in my immediate experience with an encounter, certainly in my upward soaring way. Why, just yesterday, when exiting your McDonald's, one of the staff happened to be in the vestibule. He held open the door for 3 ladies coming in, and then continued holding it for me to exit. Now, he was not paid to be a doorman. He was simply a naturally gentle fellow. He may not ever know how much he gentled the spirit of others, making a better world simply by being a thorough giver. Isn't that amazing? Thank you again for such wonderful work and public service. Ahoy, Victoria MacKenzie-Childs. P.S. This wee giftie is only just a tiny reminder that you are appreciated by a farther-reaching mass than you will ever know, except in how good you feel within each time you hand a hamburger to a stranger friend. So that's my little note that's inside, and that's the real gift and message of gratitude. So, and this wasn't, it's around Christmas time, but this wasn't meant to be a Christmas gift. It was just a gift of gladness. Whoops, just a second. I'm actually glad you're seeing me puzzle with putting this together, because there's a certain way that it goes on, and you have to kind of feel your way. And the same thing with opening it. You have to kind of, some people try to lift up this top rim, and some people try to pull the bottom apart, or some people try to untie the little sash around it. But it's just a matter of holding it like this and wiggling it up, and there it is. Okay, so that's what I was working on. And then I thought, oh gosh, just a pile of 50 of these boxes. It seems like a delivery or something. And so I decided to wrap them all. And in doing so, let me show you. So what I thought would be a good idea is to use all the piles of wrappings and ribbons and things that just kind of get left behind after Christmas, or you know, someone might send a gift. I kept everything, and some of them are more, you know, wrinkled or torn, or I had to cut off pieces of tape, you know, that were on them and so forth. But I ended up with enough to do these little boxes. I started out simply. After wrapping them, then I got out all this leftover scraggly bits of ribbon and trims, and I just did simple little bows with what I had, and they were looking swell. They were, I think this one might have been one of the first ones, and this one over here, I remember. And then I got I had basically fewer easy things to work with somehow. I don't know. I just started, you know what it is? I just started loving doing it even more. So they got a little bit more complicated. Like I would use a double ribbon. I'll just keep putting them over here as I go. Or tie a bow up in the corner with a bow on top of it. Or just 2 ribbons side by side. Or just going crazy and using a bigger ribbon than I thought I would have used. But it looked like a fun little thing. Let's see, this is just your typical little party. And let's see, what else do we have? I'm looking through as I grew into this. I think that's beautiful. I love that one. I cut the red ribbon with a V going out and the blue with the V going in. And see how wrinkly the paper is? But still, I just thought it looks like a thoughtful gift. And it is. Look at this one. This one's fun because you kind of expect the fleur-de-lis motif to be kind of austere, and yet this one got really carried away with just the tiniest of scraps. Then this one, and this one starts coming right off the top, and I curled some of the pieces of this rusty old wire that came with these leaves around a pen, and came up with that. And here's using up the other leaves that were left. Whoops. This one wants to jump up. And this is a really, I love this one. Isn't that amazing? And see, the one ribbon that ties around it is different than another ribbon that makes a little curl. And I just think it was so much fun to discover all of these ideas, but keeping it simple. not spending, didn't use any glue, or I didn't do anything special. I just used knots. And now this is what I wanted to show you. This is another piece of this raunchy wrapping paper. But I realized that the back side of it was blue. So I folded it in such a way that, where's my finger? There it is. That it had like a double fold, and it made a stripe. And then I just tied these two cords on either side to make it look like a continuous idea. You see, we had this whole mess of green out here, and because we're working still on getting ready for the Epiphany party, which I'll tell you about in another video. But see, I just found some of this kind I like the best, the scraggly kind, and I put it in there, and I think it's just right. Don't you? It's great. Okay, so now we're heading back past the laundry. This is called Reality Video Life on Yankee. This is where we're working. This is the control room. I think some of you have seen it before. And then the mess on the desk. But look at this. This is a photograph, an old photograph of the end of Manhattan. And look at the teeming parade of ships everywhere in the bay. That's what it was like. It was just like a traffic jam of ships. Isn't it wonderful? I think Yankee's in one of these ferry boats. I think that's why we have this. But let me just put this package down. I'll show you. See the piers? This is the pier that Yankee was on when we found her. Wait, was it this one? I think it was this one. And they tore all those piers down. They were such beautiful piers. And all of these ships have long since been sunk. Look at that's a fireboat right there. And I just think it's sad that that has happened, because if we had thought ahead as a city, we could have parked all those boats that we didn't need for any other reason, or that were too feeble for that, on these piers, and we could have extended our city out into the water for all the world to come. And there could be shoe repair shops and bakeries and childcare and fancy offices looking out over the bay, and even apartments, and everything on these ships lined up one after another like an extended neighborhood dead-end street. And it would have just been amazing and boutiques and, oh my goodness, offices for all kinds of things. But we didn't think that way. And I'm hoping, and part of what I'm going to talk to you about in another video, is that somebody thinks about Yankee and how important she is. I brought these along. I'm going to bring these with me because just in case somebody couldn't read theirs very well, they could have one out in the open to read. Okay, folks, let's get ready to go. I'm going to put on my mittens and off we go. Okay. We can. Oh, I can open this one. Oh, thank you so much, sir. Hi! I brought you a surprise. Actually, I do need to speak to your tutors because I have a letter here for her.
Oh my God!
I have your letter. Remember, I think I
Yeah,
told you I
you
was
give
going
me
to write
to
a
the
letter.
left. Yeah, you give me to the left.
No, I didn't. Did I?
You give me the.
I gave you the box. So, open it is like this.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.